Last spring, a family in suburban Nashville came home to their golden retriever convulsing on the living room floor. The vet bill topped $4,000. The cause was a plant sitting on their bookshelf, one you can buy at any grocery store in America for $6. Right now, you probably have at least one of the 15 plants I'm about to show you in your home or garden. Some look like healthy food. Some look like decor. One is literally sold as the perfect beginner plant for new plant owners. I'm going to show you every single one. What they do to your dog, your cat, your rabbit, your bird, and what to plant instead, so you never have to choose between a beautiful home and a safe one. Hit subscribe before we get to number 7. That one alone could save your pet's life tonight. Let's start with the plant sitting 3 feet from you right now. Plant 1. Lily, true lilies. Tall, elegant stalks. Trumpet blooms in white, pink, orange, or deep red. They smell incredible. They're everywhere. Grocery stores, florists, Mother's Day bouquets by the millions. Here's what the tag doesn't tell you. If you own a cat and there's a true lily in your home, your cat is in active danger, right now. The toxins in Lilium genus lilies, Easter, tiger, Asiatic, daylilies, are lethally nephrotoxic to cats. They destroy kidney tissue, at the cellular level, irreversibly. A cat that chews a single leaf, or drinks water from the vase, can experience acute kidney failure within 24 to 72 hours. Cornell University College of Veterinary Medicine estimates that without aggressive IV treatment within 18 hours of exposure, survival odds drop below 50%. The worst documented cases? Cats that never ate the plant. They were exposed to pollen that fell on their fur and ingested it during grooming. Pollen? That's all it takes? If your cat seems lethargic, stops eating, or vomits within 48 hours of any lily exposure, that is a veterinary emergency, not a wait-and-see situation, an emergency. Plant 2, Aloe Vera, the plant everyone's grandmother kept on the windowsill, thick, spiky, architectural, used for centuries to treat burns and dry skin. Roughly 78% of American households that own houseplants own an aloe. It's sold as a healing plant. The reversal here is almost cruel. Aloe contains saponins and anthraquinones, specifically aloin, which cause vomiting, diarrhea, lethargy, and in larger exposures, tremors and CNS depression in dogs and cats. Yet the ASPCA lists it as toxic to both. Not mildly irritating, toxic. Aloin is so powerful as a laxative it was used as an active ingredient in over-the-counter products until the FDA required safety data in 2002. Manufacturers quietly pulled it. For a 10-pound dog, even a few inches of leaf can trigger vomiting within 2 hours and diarrhea lasting 12 hours or more. The plant that heals your sunburn is quietly making your pet miserable. Replace it with an areca palm. Same sculptural vibe, zero toxicity, better air quality. Plant 3. Pothos, devil's ivy, trailing vines. Heart-shaped leaves in green, golden yellow, or marble white. Grows in any light. Sold in grocery stores next to the bananas. One of the most purchased houseplants in America, and most people who own one have no idea what it does to a cat's mouth. Pothos contains insoluble calcium oxalate crystals, microscopic needle-shaped structures embedded throughout every part of the plant. When a pet chews any part of it, those crystals are mechanically injected into soft tissue of the mouth, tongue, throat, and esophagus. Immediate burning pain, intense drooling, pawing at the face, refusal to eat, swelling of the lips and tongue. The mechanism is similar to handling fiberglass insulation bare-handed. The crystals don't dissolve. They physically puncture tissue. In pets with small mouths, cats, rabbits, small dogs, significant exposure can make swallowing painful for 12 to 24 hours. The National Capital Poison Center lists Pothos as one of the most common sources of plant-related pet poisoning calls in the United States. And not because it's the most toxic, but because it is everywhere and nobody suspects the cheerful little vine in the hanging basket. Safe swap, spider plant. Same easy care, same trailing habit, safe for cats and dogs. Plant 4, Philodendron, big dramatic leaves. Deep green, sometimes burgundy. Split leaf, heart leaf, velvet. All of them are in hotel lobbies, coffee shops, and very likely your living room. Like pothos, philodendrons contain calcium oxalate crystals, but often at higher concentrations, and the plants are larger, meaning more surface area for pets to access. The Merck Veterinary Manual notes that severe philodendron ingestion doesn't just cause oral swelling. It can cause systemic hypocalcemia. The oxalate crystals bind calcium in the bloodstream, reducing it to a level that affects muscle function and cardiac rhythm. And that's a very different risk level than a sore mouth. A dog that eats a significant quantity of philodendron may be experiencing a systemic metabolic event that requires blood chemistry monitoring at a vet clinic. Safe swap, peperomia. Similar tropical aesthetic, extremely low maintenance, definitively non-toxic. Plant 5, Dieffenbachia, dumb cane. Wide, patterned cream and green leaves. Grows tall and bushy, tolerates fluorescent light and neglect. You've seen it in waiting rooms, offices, and lobbies. It earned the name dumb cane because the calcium oxalate crystals, combined with the enzyme asparagine, cause such severe swelling of the tongue, mouth, and throat that a human or animal can be temporarily unable to speak or swallow. In humans, this was used as a torture method during the colonial period. In pets, it means a swollen airway. UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine has documented cases where dogs that chewed Dieffenbachia stems required emergency airway management. For cats, even contact with the plant's sap, not ingestion, just contact followed by grooming, can cause oral burns and swelling. This is not a keep it on a high shelf situation. The sap can drip, leaves fall, repotting spreads it. This plant needs to leave your home entirely. Plant 6, snake plant, Sansevieria. Tall, stiff, architectural leaves with yellow edges. Needs almost no water. Grows in almost any light. The most recommended beginner plant in basically every houseplant guide of the last decade. In gift guides. Sold in airports. Snake plants contain saponins, the same class of compounds found in aloe, causing nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea in dogs and cats. The ASPCA classifies it as toxic to both species. The toxicity is mild to moderate, which sounds reassuring until you watch your dog vomit 4 times in 2 hours and stop drinking water. The practical risk is high because snake plants are almost always floor plants or low-shelf plants, and because the toxicity is mild rather than catastrophic, many owners never connect the plant to their pet's recurring mystery stomach upset. Safe swap, Calathea. Same bold foliage, similar height, non-toxic, and more visually interesting. Now we go outside, because if your pets have access to your yard, the risk level climbs sharply. Some of the plants in this next section affect your pet's heart, and the first one has killed animals with a single branch. Yeah, before we go further, if you're watching this and realizing you have more of these plants than you expected, you are not alone. And this list is about to get more serious. Subscribe right now, because next month I'm covering the outdoor garden shrubs and ground covers that look completely harmless but are sending pets to emergency vets every weekend in America. That video alone could save you a $2,000 emergency room bill. Subscribe, hit the bell, I'll see you there. Plant 7. Oleander tall. Graceful shrubs in white, pink, or deep red. They line California highways. They grow in Gulf Coast yards. Planted in shopping mall medians across the American South and Southwest because they are drought-tolerant, fast-growing, and gorgeous. A single bite. That is the documented threshold for a fatal cardiac event in a small dog or cat. To not a handful of leaves. One bite of any part of an oleander, leaf, stem, flower, root. Oleander contains cardiac glycosides, oleandrin and nerine, that directly interfere with the sodium-potassium pump in heart muscle cells. The heart begins to arrhythmiate. The mechanism is nearly identical to digitalis toxicity. UC Davis Veterinary Emergency Service estimates oleander poisoning carries a mortality rate of 30 to 40%, even in treated cases. Untreated, the death rate approaches 90%. This is not a plant that makes pets sick. This is a plant that kills them. If your yard has oleander, your pet should never be unsupervised there. Fallen leaves remain toxic for weeks. Dried clippings retain toxicity. There is no safe part of this plant at any stage of its life cycle. T-plant 8, azalea/rhododendron magnificent flowering shrubs in pink, purple, white, or deep red. They're in front of churches, schools, and suburban homes across the Pacific Northwest, the Southeast, and New England by the hundreds of millions. The entire plant is toxic. Every part. The toxin class is grayanotoxins, found in leaves, flowers, nectar, and even the honey produced by bees that visit them. In pets, grayanotoxins bind to sodium channels in nerve cells and prevent them from resetting. The result is a simultaneous flood of nerve signals throughout the body: drooling, vomiting, loss of coordination, muscle weakness, low blood pressure, abnormal heart rate, and in severe cases, seizures and coma. Texas A&M College of Veterinary Medicine notes a dose as small as 0.2% of an animal's body weight in azalea leaves can be lethal. For a 20-pound dog, that is less than half an ounce, less than what a dog might chew from a low-hanging branch in a single unsupervised minute. If you're landscaping with pets in the yard, azaleas and rhododendrons need to either be fenced off completely or replaced. Plant 9. Daffodil bright yellow blooms on slender green stems. Planted in the millions every autumn by gardeners who love winter to spring color. Completely toxic from top to bottom. The bulbs are the most dangerous part, and bulbs are exactly what dogs dig up. Licorine, the primary alkaloid concentrated in the bulb, causes forceful vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and in significant exposures, tremors, low blood pressure, WAS, and cardiac arrhythmia. The ASPCA, Animal Poison Control Center, fields thousands of daffodil calls every spring. The specific danger window is October through March, when bulbs are being planted, stored in bags near garden sheds, or freshly exposed by frost heave. A dog that finds a bag of daffodil bulbs in the garage has found something roughly as dangerous as a bag of grapes. Plant them only where your dog cannot dig. And if your dog vomits with unusual force in spring, think about what just came up in your garden. Plant 10. Chrysanthemum pom-pom blooms in orange, yellow, burgundy, white, and pink. Every porch in America gets a pot of mums in September. Every grocery store sells them. Every garden center stacks them in towers. And they contain pyrethrins, a word most dog owners have heard. So, but have no idea, is sitting in a pot on their front porch. Pyrethrins are natural insecticides derived specifically from chrysanthemum flowers. They are the active ingredient in many flea and tick treatments. When a dog ingests the raw plant, the dose is uncontrolled and can be significantly higher than any commercial product. In dogs, vomiting, drooling, diarrhea, loss of coordination. In cats, the reaction is far more severe. Cats metabolize pyrethrins much more slowly. Feline pyrethrin toxicity produces muscle tremors, seizures, hyperthermia, and can progress to respiratory failure. The ASPCA reports that cats exposed to concentrated pyrethrin, including natural chrysanthemum, represent some of the most severe poisoning cases their toxicology line handles. Those fall porch mums. If your cat goes outside, they should not be sitting near them. We're about to get into the part of this list that most gardening channels never touch. The plants that don't just make pets sick, the ones with documented fatalities in family pets. If you have not subscribed yet, this is your last chance to do it before I show you a plant that is sold at most big box garden centers in America and can cause liver failure in your dog in less than 24 hours. Subscribe. You need this information, and more is coming. Plant 11. Sago Palm. A stunning ornamental with a thick, scaly trunk and a perfect crown of dark green fronds. Looks like something from a resort. Sold at Home Depot and Lowe's, everywhere in warm American climates. It is also, according to the ASPCA, one of the most acutely toxic plants to dogs and cats in North America. Every part is toxic, and the seeds, most of all, small, brown, harmless looking. Exactly the kind of thing a curious dog investigates with its mouth. The toxin is sikicin, which gets converted by gut bacteria into a compound that directly destroys liver cells. The liver does not repair this damage, it accumulates it. Within 12 to 24 hours of ingesting even a single seed, a dog may show signs of liver failure, vomiting, bloody diarrhea, jaundice, bleeding disorders as clotting factors collapse. Pet Poison Helpline reports that sago palm ingestion in dogs carries a mortality rate of approximately 50 to 75%, even with aggressive veterinary treatment. There is no antidote. Treatment is supportive only. If you have a sago palm and a dog, you need to make a decision today. And because every day that plant is accessible is a day your dog is one moment of curiosity away from a 50-50 coin flip with its life. Plant 12. Foxglove. Tall, elegant spikes covered in tubular flowers in purple, pink, white, or yellow, each patterned inside with a ring of spots. A classic cottage garden plant. Grows wild in Pacific Northwest forests. Genuinely beautiful. Looks completely innocent. Foxglove contains cardiac glycosides, specifically digitalis, the same compound extracted and refined into digoxin, the prescription heart medication. In therapeutic doses, it regulates heart rhythm. From a plant, uncontrolled, it does the opposite. Arrhythmia, then cardiac arrest. Every part contains digitalis, leaves, flowers, seeds, roots. Dried foxglove in a floral arrangement is as toxic as a living plant. The University of Maryland Medical Center notes digitalis toxicity produces nausea, vomiting, cardiac arrhythmias, and visual disturbances within hours. In severe cases, complete cessation of the electrical signal between heart chambers. Foxglove should not be planted anywhere dogs have unsupervised access. It is beautiful. It's also technically a pharmaceutical compound growing in your flower bed. Safe cottage garden swap, snapdragon. Similar vertical drama, zero toxicity. Plant 13, cyclamen round. Marbled green leaves with swept back blooms in pink, red, or white. Blooms in winter, which makes it irresistible as a holiday plant. In grocery stores in November and December, right next to the poinsettias. Cyclamen contains terpenoid saponins, concentrated most heavily in the root system. In the specific risk, pets are often attracted to the soil around a potted plant, and in digging or rooting around, they access the tubers directly, which is where toxin concentration is highest. A small nibble on a leaf causes mild GI symptoms. A dog that digs up and chews the bulb may be experiencing cardiac abnormalities within 30 minutes. The holiday season is when this plant is everywhere, and also when households are busy, distracted, and less likely to notice a pet rooting around in a corner pot. Check your holiday plants. Every single one. Plant 14. Autumn crocus. Slender lilac or purple blooms that push up from bare soil in September and October after the foliage has already died back. No leaves, just flowers appearing like magic. They look delicate and completely harmless. They are one of the most deceptive plants on this list. An autumn crocus contains colchicine, an alkaloid so potent it has been used as a chemotherapy agent since the 6th century. It inhibits cell division by attacking every rapidly dividing cell system in the body simultaneously: the GI tract lining, bone marrow, liver, kidneys. The clinical horror of autumn crocus poisoning is the delay. A pet that ingests the plant may seem only mildly ill in the first 24 hours: vomiting, diarrhea, lethargy. Owners often attribute it to an upset stomach and weight. Then, between 24 and 72 hours, multi-organ failure begins. Blood counts collapse as bone marrow fails. Kidney function deteriorates. Liver enzymes spike. The University of Illinois College of Veterinary Medicine has documented autumn crocus cases where pets appeared stable on day 1 and were in critical failure on day 3. There is no antidote for colchicine toxicity. If your pet is ever in contact with an autumn crocus garden and shows any GI symptoms, even mild ones, do not wait. Call your vet immediately, and specifically mention autumn crocus. Those 2 words will change the urgency of the response you receive. Plant 15. Castor bean plant. Enormous star-shaped leaves in deep green or dramatic red bronze, rising on tall, hollow stems up to 10 feet in a single season. Sold as an annual privacy screen, a tropical accent, a statement plant. Garden centers sell it. Seed catalogs feature it. It looks bold, architectural, and completely under control. The seeds are small, oval, shiny, mottled brown and gray. They look like large beans. They look like something from a craft store. And they are the source of ricin, one of the most toxic naturally occurring substances on Earth. Ricin prevents every cell it contacts from making the proteins required to function. Without protein synthesis, cells die. Enough cells die, and so does the animal. The CDC classifies ricin as a potential bioterrorism agent. For pets, 1 or 2 seeds chewed and swallowed by a medium-sized dog is a lethal event. Symptoms appear within 6 to 12 hours: severe GI distress, internal bleeding, seizures, multi-organ failure. Colorado State University Veterinary Teaching Hospital has documented that even partial exposure to chewed castor bean seeds carries a mortality rate well above 50% with maximal supportive care. There is no antidote. Here is what makes this the last plant on this list and the one I most want you to remember. See, castor bean plants drop seeds. Quietly, over the course of late summer and fall, dozens or hundreds fall into the soil, into mulch beds, under deck furniture, into areas where your dog roams off-leash. Your pet can encounter a castor bean seed weeks after you've cut the plant down, after the dramatic foliage is gone, after you've completely forgotten it was there. The danger does not end when the growing season does. It ends when every seed has been found and removed. In a large planting that is functionally impossible to guarantee, this is the plant I am asking you to remove. The Safe Swaps spider plant for Pothos, Calathea for snake plant, Areca palm for aloe, Peperomia for Philodendron, Snapdragon for foxglove, Boston fern for any trailing or hanging position, bamboo palm for dramatic indoor foliage, and Christmas cactus as a non-toxic holiday alternative to cyclamen, African violet for lily, marigold for chrysanthemum. Every single one is available at most garden centers. None compromise the visual character of your home or garden. All definitively non-toxic to cats and dogs. You do not have to choose between beautiful and safe. That trade-off does not exist. 3 categories, 15 plants. First, direct organ toxicity: lilies, sago palm, oleander, foxglove. These don't irritate, they destroy kidneys, livers, and hearts. Second, mechanical and GI toxicity: the oxalate crystal plants, the saponin plants, the pyrethrin plants. Intense, frightening symptoms that can cascade into systemic dehydration in small pets. Third, delayed onset and unique mechanism: autumn crocus, castor bean, Dieffenbachia, Justeers, the ones where early symptoms mask what's coming, and where by the time you know how serious it is, the treatment window has already narrowed. None of these plants are rare. None are obscure. Every single one is in common circulation in American homes and gardens, sold without mandatory warning labels, featured in decor magazines, and recommended by interior design bloggers. Drop your state in the comments. Tell me which plant on this list surprised you the most. And if you found out today that you own one of these, tell me. I genuinely want to know how widespread this is. Next week, the outdoor garden plants that veterinary emergency rooms see most in spring and summer, the ones in flower beds and hedgerows that cause weekend emergency vet calls costing families thousands of dollars every single year. And that family in Nashville, their dog survived. $4,000. 3 days in a veterinary ICU, a pothos that is no longer in that house. They replaced it with a spider plant. Their dog is fine. Their home still looks beautiful, and they will never have to make that phone call again. Neither will you, because now you know. Stay safe out there, and give your pets a hug from me.